So if you're a little bit like me, then you're probably a bit excited for 2025 to start because it feels like a fresh start, like a new beginning, new chance to improve and whatnot. And the beginning of a new year just feels like the perfect moment to do that. And I was just sitting down and trying to get started with planning my goals for the new year, which is something I haven't done in a while because I have been depressed for quite some time. Actually, I have been depressed basically for around 20 years or something. And I've struggled with PTSD, anxiety, apparently with ADHD, which I recently found out. And so there's some hurdles to being productive and achieving goals and stuff. And yeah, if you want to know how I plan my new year, then I'm going to share that in my next video. But for now, I wanted to talk about one of the most important things when trying to achieve goals, and that's your mindset. So, when I first started my healing journey 8 years ago, when I started my second therapy, I underestimated quite a few things. And there's probably many more, but I just wanted to share the few ones that I often think about and that I feel like are really important to maybe have in mind and to also keep as a mindset if you're going through some changes and growing and healing and stuff, especially if you intend to take your goals and visions and dreams seriously in 2025. So, one of the first things that I think we underestimate, or at least I keep underestimating and have underestimated a lot, is how much we actually grow and our ability to grow and change and learn. In hindsight, that we really can grasp our progress and our journey, basically. Because think about it, if you think about yourself a month ago, probably you will feel like you're the same or pretty much the same person as you were a month ago. But if you think of yourself 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, you're definitely, I guess, saying or realizing that you're a completely different person while still being you, which I think is actually the point why we do feel like we don't change a lot and don't make a lot of progress or whatever. Because I think that at our core, there's always something that is us and that will never change. And at least that's how I feel so far in my journey. I don't know, like, yeah, there's just some sort of feeling of you that will remain inside of you, if you know what I mean. um, and I think that's quite beautiful because it's just like a surprise, like every now and then there's moments where it'll hit you that, wow, I'm changing so much, or I've grown so much. I've become a person I've never thought I would be, which I've become a person I never thought I would be. I never thought I would be able to have the balls to make YouTube videos, and I still don't, but I'm trying. Yeah, and it took me many years of growth and change to become a person that is able to do things despite their fear. Um, I think. I mean, I'm definitely not doing everything I'm scared of and shit, but I don't know. I've always felt like fear is actually a pretty great guide for finding what's meant for you. um, and finding the challenges that will truly get you a step further in where you want to go, truly, like deep down. Um, so, yeah, I think we keep underestimating that, or I definitely do. And in general, I think we probably all kind of underestimate how much we're able to grow and how far we've already come. So yeah, just don't be so hard on yourself. If like after a few weeks, like if you're starting therapy, I'm starting behavioral therapy right now. Um, I can be quite impatient, um, which is okay, but just keep going. Just don't judge yourself too soon. Because if you look back, I'm sure you're going to have a lot of things that you're going to be proud of yourself. Next, I think that sometimes you will underestimate how healing feels. Mm, Sometimes you will feel your progress while it's happening and your growth. And I don't really know how to describe it because it's a very special feeling, I think. But if you know it, you will know it. And if you don't, do not make the mistake of thinking that you're not growing, that you're not healing, because feeling isn't always nice. That's true. Same with healing. They can be really exhausting and tiring, and it will make you feel shitty sometimes. Because healing, a big part of it is feeling your feelings and your experiences and reflecting on them and having to go back to memories you maybe don't want to go back to. And so healing isn't always obviously a very comfy, cozy process. And that's okay. That's totally normal. And yeah, healing just is not a math problem. So it's not linear. Healing is a never ending journey. And the sooner you are open and willing to be a lifelong learner, the easier it gets. Please don't feel like you're not making progress or make the mistake of thinking that maybe you had a phase where things were going better, you were feeling better, and then suddenly out of nowhere, because of something, whatever, you're just back in a rut. And that's normal too. And you will probably feel like you're making no progress at all, like you're going one step forward and two steps back. And that's not true. It's simply not true. Whenever you're going back into a state where you feel rather negative about yourself, you will not have lost all the progress that you've made. My therapist once said to me, once the door is open, it stays open. Because I was talking with him about how I'm really scared of forgetting all that I'm learning and that I will just not make any progress because of that. Yeah, he told me that. And that was pretty much quite in the beginning of the therapy. And it stuck with me because it's true. Once you've opened the door to yourself, to your feelings, to listen to yourself, to being mindful with yourself and how you care about yourself, there's no going back. And you will not, I personally think at least, or that's how I feel, it will not get lost. The progress you have made the progress. Just because it goes downward sometime, like, I don't know maths. I'm not a math people man. But like the ups and downs, but overall, if you zoom out, it's still going up. That's you and me and all of us. So yeah, keep that in mind. Another thing that I think we're kind of underestimating the strength and willpower that we have and that we have been exercising on our journeys, because it's just because you keep coming to a place where you feel like everything is hopeless doesn't mean you haven't learned anything. It could also mean that you're just growing and able to face bigger fears and problems and troubles in your soul, basically. And so yeah, I think it's kind of like a video game, you like go through level 1 and then you get through there, and then level 2, and then there's like an enemy, and then you slay that enemy. And then in level 3 you have an enemy, and then there's like a final boss, and so on, and you get stronger with every level that you complete. And I know there's no way to tell where the level starts and where it ends. I think that personally they probably all intertwine and there's like multiple levels you're doing at the same time. But doesn't really matter. The point was I think you're getting stronger and stronger and you don't even realize it, and you're facing even darker demons in your soul, and maybe you don't really realize that you're dealing with those bigger demons. Yeah, hope that makes sense. Just a thought. And probably one of the biggest things that I've underestimated is being nice to yourself and talking nice to yourself. It sounds so easy, yet it is one of the freaking hardest things to do, at least for me. But I've learned to do it, and this is absolutely mind-blowing to me, because honestly, a few years ago, if you would have been in my head, there would have been a constant, you suck, you are absolutely worth nothing, you don't deserve to live, you don't deserve happiness or love, you don't deserve friends, you don't deserve to breathe fresh air and watch birds fly in the sky and witness the beauty of the world and all its terrors, stuff like that, yeah. And now I don't really have that much anymore. I still do, of course, and I think that will never really go away, because I think that it's also something that actually helps us to grow and keep growing and learning, as long as we don't like over fixate on that and then it turns into like all this negative self-talk and stuff. But really making an effort to really be nice to yourself and loving and taking care of yourself, and even if it's just one little thing in a day that you do for yourself that is nice, that makes you feel warm and cozy or loved, or just taken care of, or something that brings you closer to something that you want to do, achieve, whatever. That's so important. I cannot even describe it, because I think that unless you've experienced the importance of it, you probably don't know how important it is. And it might feel stupid in the beginning because you don't trust yourself and you don't believe in yourself and you don't believe that you deserve to be nice to yourself, do it anyways. Try your best. And even if it's just challenging one negative thought in a day, where you catch yourself thinking that negative thing, sorry. Yeah, if you manage to just like once in a day, maybe like, I don't know, sit down and chill for a bit and observe your thoughts, and you catch yourself thinking negatively about yourself, take one thought of that and try to rephrase it or just turn it around into something positive. But I think rephrasing it first is probably easier, because personally I haven't found a way where affirmations work for me, because I just don't believe them. And I feel stupid. So I've tried to find other ways, like rephrasing something. I suck. I suck, but I try my best, I suck, but I also care deeply about the people that I care deeply about. Stuff like that, And it's just, it might feel insignificant as well. But that, again, that's the part that we underestimate. And the more we do that, the easier it gets. And I really did not feel or really realize the change, but the amount of positive thoughts about myself versus the negative thoughts about myself, which, negative was pretty much 99% in the past, and now I would say it's like 90% positive and 10% negative, which is just something I wouldn't have thought would be possible. And it feels so good and makes things so much easier, because why the fuck do I have to be so hard on myself? There's no need. I really am trying my best. And yeah, you are as well. And you wouldn't be a dick to your best friend who's trying their best, right? And that sounds so cliche, but it's so important and true. And yeah, so I just wanted to like throw that at you again. Be nice to yourself. Please, please, please be nice to you. You deserve it, really. Yeah. And it feels really good after a while. It feels like being your own friend. And I love that feeling, because friends are nice. And if you always have a friend with you. Oh, yeah. And I also think that journaling, as I said earlier, I think really helps with that. I used to do that a lot, especially when I was a kid. And then I had a phase where I didn't do it for a few years. And then I did it again. And then not. And then, and I really want to start doing that regularly again, because it just feels really good to just have a place where you can write it all down, and it really soothes your brain, and I don't know, it's just a great help. Also, by the way, if you want a mental health journal, I actually have a Notion template for that, if you're interested. It has a mood tracker and several prompts in there. I have like 2 sessions for self-belief and creating a loving vision of yourself and your future in there, as well as morning pages and evening pages and stuff like that. And I illustrated the pictures and stuff, and yeah, I actually use it myself and I really like it. And if you want to try journaling in 2025 with a focus on mental health, then maybe that's something for you. I'm gonna list that in the description below. That feels weird. But yeah, it would really help me out because I'm just starting my small business. So yeah, if you wanna check it out, check it out. So for the next one, I'm not really sure. I don't really have like a conclusion or helpful resolvement. Sorry. English is not my first language. So I don't really know how to express that right now. But yeah. I personally don't really have a conclusion to that because I feel like I'm working through that at the moment. But try to not get too attached to an identity of being broken or hurt or whatever. Yeah, because we're also here to live life, and if you're constantly striving to grow and get better, there's always this kind of pressure in some way to get better and to feel like you're leveling up in some sort of way, when in reality it's also really, really nice to just live life and try to just be you, you know? That's important as well. Yeah. I also think that will maybe come naturally at some point because that's just how it occurred to me, that I had thoughts of, you know, I don't really feel like my main problem is that I'm so broken that everything in my life has to revolve about that. Yeah, because if either way, there's no end to this journey, basically. Growing and learning is a lifelong journey, and I love that. I think that's one of the most funnest part of being alive, which is also something that I haven't always looked at this way. Do not underestimate our need maybe to have like this goal, this end point we can come to. It will never happen. And yeah, sometimes that might feel shitty because again, you might feel like you're not making progress and stuff like that, but that's not true. So yeah, just chill. I know, easier said than done, but I really mean it. Like, life is really not that serious at the end of the day, even though it is, but you also, it just depends on. You're underestimating your mind, I think, all in all. The power of your mind, and how having, first of all, the power, I don't know, to choose your perspective. And sometimes it might not feel like that you have the power to choose your own perspective, how you see things and how you perceive them. But you really do. You really do. And I think that skill becomes unlocked when you start to witness yourself. Because there's a difference between feeling your feelings and stuff like that and being the observer and reflecting on that, observing that, and processing that, and then deciding, does that align with how I want to see the world, or do I want to choose to believe something different, for example? I'm not shitty. I'm human, and I'm perfectly flawed. Just like everybody else, and we're just floating on a stone rock type of thing in the middle of nowhere. stuff like that, you know. And that feels kind of like a muscle, and sometimes you forget to do that and stuff. And then you remember again. That's also like we underestimate, I think, that the lessons that we learn that we tend to forget, but then subconsciously they're still there, and so we will remember them when we need it. At least that's my experience. So yeah, again, if you're excited for 2025 and maybe you feel like planning your goals and stuff with me, stay tuned for my next video. That's what it's going to be about. I'm gonna link it here. If it's not here yet, then it's not uploaded yet, so maybe subscribe, I don't know, so you don't miss it, you know. And if you're interested in journaling and keep going with journaling or whatever, with the focus on your mental health or just in general, then yeah, maybe check out my mental health journal Notion template, because I put a lot of love and thought in there. Please be nice to you, and see you soon.